here today, and I have a bit of a rant about the Conservancy on Galliano Island. They don't like to listen to anybody who complains, so I'm going to do this video, and hopefully everybody watches it. Well, this here is a snowberry, I think it's called. It's just a native plant. And it's a good plant. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got every right to be there. But what I have an issue is that this plant is on my property. And the Conservancy has come over my property and onto my property, and they have put a fence around it and tried to stake it down in some form of protection. And normally I wouldn't be opposed to somebody trying to protect anything, but the fact is they've actually trespassed. Obviously they're not using their GPSs properly or know their map skills properly, because they have roamed a good 300 feet out of the zone right into my property. So anyway, I'll show you where the property starts. The property actually starts right about here. Starts right about here. And they've come right down to what they call the road. It's not a road, it was the old logging road, and that's all it was. Anyway, the old road is up here. That's the road right here. I'll show you. And they are off track. The old road runs right there where you see that little clearing. That's where the old road runs. So they've come right over and technically trespassed and staked that up. So that's not my only issue about the Conservancy. My big concern about the Conservancy is the fact that they're pulling down a shitload of trees and they don't really have any clue what they're doing. They're tagging them all orange and then they pull them down. They are relatively healthy trees. And what they're doing is they're pulling the trees down to let more sunlight in, so the old species that used to be here can have a chance to take back. Well, I know that for a forest to restore itself, it doesn't take people. A forest restores itself on its own. So when you're trying to restore a forest, the best thing to do is just leave it be. When you go and maintain things, you pull trees out and do whatnot, what you're going to have is what happened to the Black Forest in Germany. You're going to have dead growth, and it's basically going to kill off your whole forest. Everything has a bionics, a symbiotic relationship. So all these plants are working together. There's not one that's attacking the other. They feed off each other. And yes, there are parasites, but that's how nature grows. If you go to the West Coast Trail, it's the most magical place I've ever been in BC. And the reason that is that it's never been logged, ever. And it's marvelous. It's just trees on trees on trees, and everything's feeding off each other. And it's just like an amazing forest. And you don't see forests like that anymore, because their idea of forest is money. Let's make some logs. Let's build log homes. Let's rape the whole forest and get logs each year, and let's have nurseries to plant straight line trees. That's what I see, and that's not the way to do it. That's the corporate way, and I'm sorry, but in my opinion, the corporate way is the very wrong way. So we're gonna hike up. We're on Conservancy land now, and I'm gonna show you some of the damage they did. Well, all these trees that are pulled down, and the ones with orange tags on them, are all going to be ripped down. And this is just purely an experiment. They don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. I've talked to them, they told me so. And the problem with what they're doing is that I don't care if these trees were alive or dead. Most of them were alive when they pulled them down. They used winch sets and yanked all these down. And what the problem is that the woodpeckers, they're up on the trees safely eating bugs. And I went to forestry camp, I learned this. This is something that was explained. And when you bring trees down like this, what happens is the birds now are pecking at ground level, and all the predators are able to get them. So you're having, before they pulled all these trees down, you come through here and it was nothing but birds. I'm not shitting you. It was just tweet, tweet, tweet. That's all you heard. And of course the cats have had a heyday in here. I've seen feathers. Like this happened about 3 years ago, and they're still sort of in the process, but I started making a stink about it, asking lots of questions and telling some of the people that work there who was explaining to me what they were doing, and I was telling them my side of the story and what I explained, and it sounds like they had a bit of maybe a panic and they stopped because they haven't torn anything else down. But the mess is still here, and the reasons that I don't like this is that another reason for it is the forest fire risk. This is right in my backyard, and all this deadfall is just another problem as far as forest fire risk goes. And I mean, them pulling down their own trees, they've gone against their own work. It's pretty funny. See these, like this mess they leave. First of all, they're trying to claim that they're for the better and they're trying to fix the forest, and here they are ripping down trees, leaving garbage around, leaving torn up tags, plastic all on the ground, tags on the trees. They've tried to save some plants here, as you can see, and completely defeated their own purpose. Brought trees right down on them, destroying them. I mean, that's they're all doing. They're just a bunch of cowboys, if you ask me, or better word would be clowns. They're just a bunch of clowns. This is the Conservancy on Galliano. They think they're forestry because they go to university and one guy passes whatever and he comes back and leads a bunch of clowns, and they do all this goon work, and in their minds they can't do anything wrong. But I'm sorry, this is really wrong. The other problem with tearing down all the trees is we're on a hillside, quite a steep hill, and erosion. We already have an erosion problem, and they're just making it worse by doing this kind of crap. And then I got another issue is not just the erosion, but also the other plants they try and take care of, instead of using plants that are trying to take over for the benefit, instead of trying to fight it all the time. Like the broom, they go on massive long campaigns to tear up all the broom, which just comes back anyway, because of course they do it the wrong time of year. They do it when it seeds, and seeds spill everywhere, so it just gives them basically job security. Anyway, the other thing about this thing about the Conservancy is they like to fight certain plants that they say is taking over when they could just have it work for them. Like when this becomes a big sand pit because of erosion, they could plant the broom, for instance, along here because it'll hold the banks. That's one thing I see broom being really good for. It's not thorny like a lot of other plants are that hold banks. The broom is not that bad of a plant. It just grows really thick and heavy. So as you can see, there's more trees they're going to be tearing down up here. All these tagged trees. We're on the old logging road that takes you up the hill. But anyway, the thing about the broom that I wanted to go on about is, like, it's when they go and harvest, or they don't harvest it, they cut it down. They go on massive removal campaigns and probably spend a lot of money doing so. And what they're doing is they're just wasting their time, because when they do this is when the broom, of course, is already seeded, and all they're doing is they're spreading more seed everywhere when they cut the branches down, cut down the broom and try and dig it up. They just dig more seed in, and it grows back next year, and it becomes job security. If you really wanted to get rid of it, you would attack it in the spring before it seeds, just like you would on any other thing. So, like I say, a bunch of cowboys. The other issue about it is also it's not that as bad as everyone thinks it is. It's invasive, it takes over, but as plants die out due to our great thing called climate change, other species will move in. It's called evolution. Just face it. Why fight it? When you fight it, you end up with deserts. I say go with it. Go with the flow, and when things move in, you should embrace it. Say welcome. Because I'll tell you this, the cedar trees are all dying off, and I would like something to replace them instead of having nothing. So that's one thing. But anyway, this whole Conservancy thing, they own a lot of land here, and it's basically part of Agenda 21, and that's just a big land grab. They have this agenda. I don't know who they as in is, but I've seen all the reports, and there's an agenda to basically move everybody out of rural areas and into the cities. That's one of their plans, so they can have more population control. Or I shouldn't say population control, but have more control over the population. And also with us out of the rural areas, that opens up these areas for mining and gas companies. They can basically they can do whatever they want, and there'll be no one here to bother them. The other thing about it is Agenda 21 is designed to, yes, open up all of our backwoods to the mining companies and just give it to them. And if you even want to go hiking in the woods like I am right here right now, you would have to have a permit. You need to go and sign up, get a permit, and probably pay money to go out and enjoy the wildlife and nature. And if you're caught in these areas I've read the reports, so this is actual fact, and this is a thing that they are trying to make. And if we just stand by and stand uneducated about it, they will get their way, and your children will lose out. So I recommend we fight. I strongly suggest you pay attention and you fight this, because it will affect your kids and future generations. There won't be such a thing as camping. You'll be the only camping would basically be working out in the oil rigs and shit like that. Not my idea of fun. So I think the way to fight this is you buy up as much land as you can. You buy it up before they can, and it might not be the only way, but yeah, I think it's a good start. If we occupy it, they can't occupy it. That's the best way to put it. So anyway, you should really look up more on Agenda 21. I don't have the time or the information right in front of me to go over it at the moment, but I'll tell you, if you look on the map where we are right now, we're at Retreat Cove on Galliano Island on the Pebble Beach side, sort of Pebble Beach Reserve. And that's the the Conservancy's land, and it was donated by some rich guy to the people of Pebble Beach, but there was no group called the People of Pebble Beach, so the Conservancy basically just grabbed it, and that's how they took it. So it's now Conservancy land. It's not even really a park, but we at this moment have open reign to walk it and of course enjoy it, as long as we respect it. So anyways, there is no hunting in this area. I can hunt on my property, which butts right up into here, but of course I can't hunt in this zone. But like I was about to say, sorry, I went a little sidetrack. There's plan to put a bridge from Vancouver to Vancouver Island, and it would go over Galliano, then jump over to Salt Spring, and then you drive along Salt Spring a bit, and then you drive off of Salt Spring onto Vancouver Island. And that's one of the so-called plans to do. And of course this probably won't happen in my lifetime, but they are of course putting it in the blueprints and whatnot and proposing it. So in my opinion, now I don't know if this is fact or not, but I'm just guessing that this was a pretty hot spot for them to grab because of that agenda right there, because it would just bring that bridge right over here. They land it on this land right here, and it would have 2 clover leaves that feed Galliano, and then it would keep going and it'd go over to Salt Spring, and then people could drive from Vancouver right here, enjoy Galliano, and then move on to Salt Spring, enjoy, and then go on to Vancouver Island. And that's not a bad thing. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it goes technically right over my house, so as long as I'm here, I don't think I want them building it. It would be certainly an eyesore to go down the beach and just have nothing but this big concrete bridge going over your head. So I don't know. These are of course just ideas. They're not They're not imprinted, but as long as we just sit by and not pay attention to these things will be slipped in under your nose, and by the time it goes down, it'll be way too late to do anything about it. As we learned, that same thing happened with the pipelines here in BC. I mean, they do it all behind closed doors. They don't tell you about it until it's too late, and that's the way it's designed. It's supposed to be that way. That's so they get their way, and we don't. They want us to think that voting works. They want us to think that, you know, there is votes, but I mean, we vote, but we vote for who the company backs, and that's it. They give us 3 people, those are our votes. We never hear from the other people who aren't backed by the corporations. They don't even make it on the ballot, and that's something I think is a serious problem with just basically North America in general. I think that if anyone wants to vote, they should be able to just throw their name on the ballot. Or anyone wants to run, I mean, they should just be able to throw their name on the ballot. No strings attached. And then let the people really vote. That's what I think. But anyway, this was more a rant on the whole Agenda 21 and more of what the Conservancy is doing and how they're raping my woods. I'm going to move over to one last location. I'm just going to show you some mess that they made. And then we'll probably end it there. This is still on the Conservancy land, sort of like a little meadow that they made, and it's a pretty spot. I give them that. I like this area. But anyways, I'll show you some of the mess that they do, and they just leave. Well, here it is. It's just stuff like this. You find this all over the place. From the Conservancies. Normally I thought it was from dope growers, to tell the truth, but then I find it's very common where the Conservancy's been working. You find these plant pots and other paraphernalia that they've been working with, and they just leave it here. They leave little piles of it, just buried in the woods. And I don't know. They're supposed to be setting an example for everybody, and I don't see a very good example being set. I think the Conservancy kind of is a bit of a joke, and they're run by buffoons. I would like to see it, I don't know, run by some real people who actually care about the forest and aren't involved in it for their own profits and their own interests. I mean, look at this, poly. Just, I mean, that's pollution. And I mean, I know it's Conservancy because there are paraphernalias everywhere. They've got the wire fence right there. Sorry, I'll go up closer to that. But they've got, of course, the wild, they've been in here basically trying to protect little shrubs for some reason. And they put this one's a honeysuckle. And they just, anyway, as you can see, they do a dandy job. They just do a great fucking job here. I don't know, I'm just gonna fucking leave it. I don't give a shit, it's not mine. And I'm just trying to show the crap they're doing. I mean, I think it's better off technically probably with the fucking wire off it and let the plant be than choking it with this, because they obviously don't fucking maintain it. And it's getting choked out. And I mean, fuck, the deer eat it. It's called food, people. This is the woods. This is not a garden. This is not your backyard or your garden. So it's just, I don't know. It's just nuts. It's like I'm walking through here to, you know, enjoy nature, and then all you see is so much evidence of sloppy people. And it's not anything to do with tourists. This is all Conservancy. If it was tourists, you'd actually see real garbage, not just their paraphernalia type stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. I said enough. I could keep saying the same shit over and over and over again, and it's just gonna get boring, and just puts me in a bad mood anyway. So anyway, it's great living on this island. I fucking love the woods. I love nature, and I'd like to see it left alone. I'd like to see just basically let the nature take back. Just let it be, let it do its thing. Just leave it, and it will prevail. It's when we maintain it. People need to be managed, not the woods. You manage the people, the woods will manage themselves. Anyway, I'll leave with that. Thanks for watching.